Your money. Tough economy has some people borrowing from their retirement accounts. Wealth manager Jim Sloan is here for the next half hour to tell us what you need to know about borrowing from your retirement account. And Jim, let's talk about this because I have known some people that in tough times they need to make home repairs. They got to pull from that account. When is it okay to borrow from your retirement account, if at all?
Well, Natalie, I think the first thing to understand is that you can only borrow from certain type of retirement accounts, such as 403Bs and 401k plans. IRAs do not have loan provisions, so if you have any type of IRA account, you're not going to be able to get a loan from that account. A prime scenario would be a good idea for someone to get a loan would be, let's take this, say someone has $20,000 of high-interest consumer debt, and they're paying about $1,000 a month towards servicing that debt. Well, let's also say that they can go get a 403B or a 401k loan for $20,000, and they just have to repay themselves $500 a month. Well, in that instance, this person can free up about $500 in monthly cash flow. So that might make sense for that person. However, a cautionary note would simply be, if you do this, you have to make sure you have the discipline to not go back into debt.
All right, good advice. Thanks so much, Jim. Jim's going to be back with us after the break talking about when it is not okay to borrow from that account. Thanks again, Jim. Now, in Your Money, we're learning all about borrowing from your retirement account. Is it ever a good idea? Jim Sloan is here to answer those questions for us. Good morning, Jim. Good to see you again.
Good morning.
So when is it not okay to borrow from your retirement account?
Well, let's understand also that a retirement plan is not your piggy bank. So if you're considering getting a loan, understand that there are rules that you have to abide by, and you have to repay these loans on a timely fashion. For example, if you're looking to get a loan to take your family on a vacation or on a Caribbean cruise, maybe that's not such a good idea. However, if you're also struggling financially, maybe you don't want to get a 401k loan, because what's going to happen is you're going to have to make timely payments, and at some point you may have difficulty doing that. And if that happens, then your loan will default, and you will ultimately pay taxes and possibly early withdrawal penalties on those dollars. So if you fit that scenario, a 403B or a 401k loan would certainly not be in your best interest.
All right, thanks so much, Jim. Great advice there. We appreciate it. And Jim's going to stick with us in the next half hour. Information on how much you should pay for a loan. All right, thanks, Jim. Talking about borrowing from your retirement accounts all morning long. We've got wealth manager Jim Sloan here again with us. Good morning, Jim. Thanks for sticking around. We haven't scared you off yet. Let's talk about the costs to get a loan and when it is to be repaid, because earlier you said, you were giving us the difference between actually getting a loan and taking that loan from your 401k.
Sure. Loan costs generally go between 2 to 2.5% net cost to the participant. And it generally goes like this. The plan participant, or the plan provider, basically charges you about 5.5% for the loan, and then they credit you about 3% for the monies that you've borrowed. And your net cost will be ballpark about 2.5%. And of course, this type of loan interest is not deductible as you would have a mortgage or a home equity line of credit, which is. As far as the repayment, you have 5 years to fully repay the loan. However, there is one exception to this rule, and that is, if you're purchasing a home, then you could take up to 30 years to repay that loan.
Yeah, I was going to say paying back the home loan in 5 years, it might be a little sticky. All right, thanks so much, Jim. And he's going to be making one last appearance after the break, talking about what happens if you default on that loan. Your Money now, our final question about borrowing from your retirement account, and here to answer it is Jim Sloan. So Jim, what happens if you default on a loan that you take out?
Well, all you have to do really, Natalie, is just miss one payment and your loan is considered in default. However, many plans allow you up to 90 days to repay that loan, and if it's not repaid, then it's going to be deemed a distribution. And once that happens, then the entire amount, or the unpaid amount, is going to become taxable to you, and you'll have an early withdrawal penalty if you're under age 59 and a half. And then, of course, if you change employers or quit your job, then you have to repay that loan within 60 days. And the last thing I would say is that if you're considering getting a 401k or a 403b loan, seek out a trusted advisor that would help you make informed decisions.
All right, thanks so much. Talking about taking loans from your 401k and other plans that are similar. All right, thanks so much, Jim. We appreciate all your